In this episode, I talk about whether or not it makes sense to refinance a mortgage. Welcome everyone to this episode of the Ask Jason Gelios Show. I'm Jason Gelios, Michigan Realtor. I appreciate all of you that are watching this right now. There's many cool things out there that you can watch, and you decided to tune into this episode, so I really appreciate that. In this episode, we're going to be talking about whether or not it makes sense to refinance. It's June 2021. The rates are historically low, so some people are still thinking about refinancing. And now we just came off of a refinance boom, right? Where the rates were actually under 3%. Right now they're a little bit above 3% depending on what type of loan you do. But with that said, there was a huge refinance boom and everyone almost everyone, right? They got in, they got a great rate and a great option, and maybe they paid off some debt and did whatever. But we're still seeing some great rates, and it probably makes sense for some people. Everybody's situation is different, so maybe their personal situation is now allowing them to get a refinance done. Okay, for example, if somebody's working on their credit and they increase their credit, now they can qualify for the better rate. So before we dive into this though, I really invite you guys to follow me on social media. All those links are in my description below. I appreciate everyone watching this on all my social media outlets that I share this. For those of you who are new to this show, this is a weekly show that I put out once a week. Obviously, hence the weekly. So, and some shows are more casual than others, but my goal at the end of the day is to share with you great information. And so I want to kind of dive into this a little bit. Now, there's something that you should ask the lender because it is 2021 and I believe we're on the tail end of this COVID-19 pandemic. The market is still hyperactive. It's still nuts out there, okay, which does play a factor in terms of what lenders offer and don't offer, okay? So you wanna make sure that if you're taking notes, you wanna write this down. And that's, if you're looking to refinance, ask the lender if they are going to be passing on this adverse market fee. It's a 0.5% hit due to an adverse market. Okay, not all lenders are going to share that hit with their clients, okay, because that's a pretty substantial hit. Okay, so you want to make sure that you ask about that. Now, some kinds of mortgages aren't going to be subjected to that, so you just want to ask if you're being charged an adverse market fee, okay, because that's going to be a huge thing. Now, you really have to, part of thinking about doing a refinance is looking at your own personal situation and, okay, does it make sense for you to refinance? Do you have a lot of high debt that you could pay off? That's a great way to pay that debt off and put it into, let's say, a 30-year mortgage, okay, which most people go with a 30-year. It's not always the best option, just depends on what you're doing personally, okay? But what I see is I see people that have paid down their mortgage substantially, and then they switch from a 30-year to a 15-year to knock off a lot more interest. But if you have a lot of credit card debt or personal loans out there, personal loans tend to come with a low rate. But if you wanted to pay all that off and save huge per month by rolling it all into a mortgage, it might make sense for you to do a refinance cash out, right? And so I always say that, ultimately you have to look at what your ultimate goal is. Do you want to pay off something faster, or do you want a lower payment to help out with things? So that's one of the things. The other thing is you have to look at closing costs, right, which are typically 2 to 3% of the loan amount. It could be different depending on what type of property you are refinancing and what type of loan you're doing, right? But you want to make sure that you take a look at the closing costs, and then are you going to be in your home longer term? I don't recommend doing a refinance cash out if you're looking to get out of your house in the next year or so. It just doesn't make sense. And then the other thing you have to really know and ask your lender is, okay, how much equity can I use? Many lenders don't let you, for example, if your house appraises at $100,000 and you want, let's say you owe $80,000 and you want $20,000 out, many lenders won't let you max out, right? Even though in appraisal, the value amount of your home changes all the time, daily, okay? But you wanna make sure that you ask the lender, hey, hypothetically, I owe $80,000 on my loan, let's say, and just because we're doing nice even numbers, I owe $80,000 on my loan, and if it appraises for $100,000, how much can I take out? Because you also have to account for fees. Are you going to have the lender put the fees in your refinance loan, all right, a part of your payment, or are you going to pay that out of pocket? So there's a lot of things that go on. I always look at, okay, payment and long-term goals. So would it benefit you to, let's say, refinance all, your credit card debt and all that into your mortgage, and then you pay more on that one payment? That's a smart thing to do too. What I don't think is the smartest option, unless you really have to get that payment down and save money and have more cash flow per month, what I don't think is a great idea is, let's say you have a personal loan and there's like 3 years left because you did a 5-year personal loan, and you got 3 years left and you want to pay that off, and now it's going to be stretched out over 30 years, costing you a lot more interest. I don't think that's a great idea, unless you need more cash flow per month for your family, okay? And again, every case is different, but really these are some of the things that you want to think about. So the overall question is it a good time to refinance? And I say, well, sure, but it all depends on your situation. It might be a good time to refinance for me, but not for you, and vice versa. So the rates are at historic lows. If your credit has improved, if you're gonna save hundreds a month, that's a no-brainer. If you can pay off high interest rate credit cards, which are just a revolving racket, in my opinion, then yeah, that would save you a lot, and then you could pay more towards your mortgage because it's a fixed rate. It gives you more flexibility. So, share your thoughts in the comments. What do you think about those options, right? Should you pay off debt with a refinance cash out? Should you do a home equity line? You can also do that as well, where it doesn't affect your first mortgage, right? You just get a separate loan that's tied to your house, provided the equity's there. There's a lot of different options, but basically, my personal opinion is it is a great time to refinance if it makes sense for you. So I hope you guys found this valuable. Be sure to visit my website, it's allabouttherealestate.com. I got more value there, helpful articles, press mentions where we cover many different topics that I feel you would find valuable. And again, don't forget to follow me on social media. All those links are in the description below. So I appreciate each and every one of you, and I hope you guys have a great week. Thanks everyone for watching this episode of the Ask Jason Gelios Show. Be sure to visit the links in the description below to pick up your copy of my real estate book, Think Like a Realtor. It's a little book about buying and selling residential real estate through the eyes of a realtor. It's real world advice, tips, whether you're a new agent in the business or you are a home buyer or even looking to sell a home. This is great advice. So I really appreciate it if you guys visit those links, pick up your copy, and go ahead and share a review, good or bad, if you like it, if you hate it, okay? But get your copy today. Thank you.